a comedy called Life, starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
I thought the idea of doing a movie about two guys that went to prison for life, epic film with a good, entertaining movie to do.
Ever notice something off about a movie you've watched a dozen times? That moment when you suddenly spot a detail that makes you question everything? Today, we're diving deep into Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence's prison comedy Life. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never watch this cult classic the same way again. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming. Now, let's uncover the truth behind those prison bars. Fact 1. The injury that became comedy gold. Have you ever wondered if that scene with the bottles was completely staged? Here's something that'll blow your mind. When Ray and Claude are forced to stand barefoot on a case of bottles as punishment for Claude's pie-stealing escapade, Martin Lawrence wasn't acting when he winced in pain. His toe actually got stuck in one of the bottlenecks during filming, and what happened next is pure movie magic. Instead of yelling cut or breaking character, Lawrence stayed completely in the scene. That moment when he mentions his toe slipping into the bottle, that's him describing what was literally happening to him in real time. The pain was real, the struggle was real, and the directors kept the cameras rolling.
You comfortable?
Eddie Murphy's laughter wasn't scripted either. He was genuinely cracking up at his co-star's predicament. Murphy couldn't contain himself watching Lawrence deal with this unexpected mishap, and that authentic reaction created one of the most genuine moments of chemistry between the two leads. The directors recognized gold when they saw it and kept it in the final version. This scene perfectly captures what makes Life special. Both actors were so committed to staying in character that even when things went wrong, they incorporated the reality into their performance. Lawrence's genuine pain and Murphy's authentic laughter added an extra layer of humanity to the moment. What started as a simple case of bad luck during filming became one of the movie's most genuine laughs, proving that sometimes the best comedy comes from completely unplanned moments. Fact 2. Rick James's real struggle on screen. When Rick James limped across the screen as the intimidating nightclub owner Spanky Johnson, audiences assumed it was just part of the character's menacing presence. But that limp told a completely different story. The legendary musician had recently undergone hip replacement surgery right before filming began, and the production shot his scenes during his recovery period. Hip replacement recovery typically involves weeks or even months of careful movement and physical therapy. Yet James powered through genuine pain to deliver that memorable performance as the ruthless club owner who sends Ray and Claude on their fateful journey. The filmmakers decided that James's natural limp actually worked perfectly for Spanky Johnson, adding to his intimidating presence. James's genuine recovery process became part of Spanky's on-screen identity, creating a more authentic performance than any choreographed limp could achieve. What makes this even more impressive is that James was primarily known as a musician and performer, not an actor. Taking on this role while recovering from major surgery showed his dedication to the craft. The surgery-induced walk gave Spanky an additional layer of menace that felt completely natural, because it genuinely was. Rather than work around the actor's medical condition or postpone filming, the production team embraced it, showing how sometimes reality can enhance a fictional character in unexpected ways. Fact 3. Eddie Murphy's only single-character film. Here's something that separates Life from nearly every other Eddie Murphy film. Can you name another Murphy movie where he plays just one character? Throughout his career, Murphy became famous for transforming into multiple characters in the same film. His collaborations with legendary makeup artist Rick Baker produced some of the most memorable character transformations in comedy history, from the Klump family in The Nutty Professor to multiple characters in Coming to America. Baker, who won 7 Academy Awards for his makeup work, had established a long professional relationship with Murphy. Their collaborations became known for pushing the boundaries of what was possible with prosthetics and makeup. In The Nutty Professor, Murphy played 7 members of the Klump family, each with distinct personalities, voices, and physical characteristics. In Coming to America, he portrayed multiple barbershop customers, creating entirely different people. However, in Life, Baker focused exclusively on aging Ray Gibson across several decades of prison life. Instead of creating entirely new characters, he concentrated on a believable aging process spanning over 60 years. The makeup work involved gradually transforming Murphy from a young man in 1932 to an elderly prisoner in the 1990s, requiring subtle changes that showed the passage of time rather than creating completely different personas. The work was so convincing, it earned the film an Oscar nomination for Best Makeup, proving Baker's talents extended far beyond creating multiple characters. This departure from their usual approach showcased Baker's versatility in creating realistic aging effects. Fact 4. The death scene. Nobody wrote. Ready for something that'll change how you see one of the film's most heartbreaking moments? Biscuit's tragic death wasn't in the original script at all. Miguel Núñez Jr. completely improvised this devastating scene. The script called for his character to receive a simple call log, not release papers. When Núñez realized Biscuit was going to die, he specifically requested that the death happen by crossing the gun line.
What you sitting around looking all sad for? What am I gonna do out there, Ray? I can't go home to my mama like this.
Why? Because Biscuit was in a relationship with Jangle Leg, played by Bernie Mac, and the fear of returning home as an openly gay black man in 1940s Mississippi was too overwhelming. Rather than face his family and community with his identity, Biscuit chose to end his life by deliberately running past the prison boundary. This improvised moment became one of the film's most powerful scenes, addressing themes about identity and acceptance that resonated deeply with audiences. The scene was particularly brave for a mainstream comedy in 1999. LGBTQ representation, especially for black gay characters, was rare and often stereotypical. Núñez's decision to give Biscuit this tragic but dignified ending showed the character choosing authenticity over a life of hiding. The actor's creative input transformed what could have been a simple transition scene into a profound moment that highlighted the film's deeper themes about survival, authenticity, and the price of living in a society that doesn't accept you. According to Núñez in later interviews, he wanted Biscuit's death to mean something, to speak to the real struggles faced by gay men during that era. Fact 5. Mississippi was never actually Mississippi. Every scene in life is supposedly set in Mississippi, with characters spending decades at the notorious Parchman State Penitentiary. But here's the twist. Not a single frame was filmed in Mississippi. The entire production was shot in California from March to June 1998, using various locations to create the illusion of the Deep South prison system. The production utilized locations in Downey, Norwalk, Sacramento, Brentwood, and the small town of Lockeford, along with the Universal Pictures backlot. These diverse California landscapes allowed the production team to create the visual atmosphere of the rural South without the logistical challenges of filming across the country. The production team succeeded so well that viewers would never suspect they were looking at California landscapes throughout the entire film. The decision to film entirely in California was driven by practical considerations, including cost, crew availability, and the extensive studio facilities available in Hollywood. Creating a convincing Mississippi prison environment in California required careful attention to set design, lighting, and cinematography to capture the oppressive atmosphere of a southern penitentiary during the mid-20th century. The production designers had to research the actual Parchman farm to understand its layout, architecture, and the brutal conditions that defined it. They recreated the cotton fields, the guard towers, the cramped living quarters, and the overall sense of isolation that characterized these prison farms, all while working in sunny California. Fact 6. The Oscar-nominated blooper. During the retirement home scene where Ray and Claude are getting ready for bed as elderly men, Eddie Murphy's aging prosthetics malfunction in plain sight. As Murphy lifts up his shirt, viewers can clearly see the edges and seams of the bodysuit he's wearing to create the appearance of an older, heavier man. Murphy can actually be seen pulling the bodysuit down toward his waist, trying to adjust the prosthetic pieces back into position.
I don't hear what you believe, eh? I know you got something up your sleeve, nigga.
Then I'm gonna stay up arguing with you all night. You cutting into my sleeping time.
How did this obvious makeup malfunction make it through editing? and into theaters on a film nominated for Best Makeup. This blooper offers a fascinating glimpse into the practical challenges of maintaining elaborate makeup effects throughout long filming days, especially when actors need to move naturally while wearing heavy prosthetic pieces. Fact 7. The accidental future movie title. During the interrogation scene, Claude asks, "What's the worst that could happen?" In 1998, this was simply dialogue expressing his anxiety. But just 2 years later, in 2001, Martin Lawrence would star in a comedy film titled exactly that, What's the Worst That Could Happen?, alongside Danny DeVito. This coincidental connection creates interesting movie trivia, linking Lawrence's dramatic work in life with his later comedic role. Neither the writers nor Lawrence could have predicted this connection, making it a purely accidental link between two very different projects. Fact 8. The hidden Harlem Nights connection. During Ray's brutal fight with Goldmouth, Ray delivers a memorable taunt. "I know a woman named Della who hits harder than you."
I know a bitch named Della hit harder than you.
This isn't random trash talk. It's a specific callback to Murphy's 1989 film Harlem Nights. In that film, Murphy's character Quick gets into a fight with Della Reese's tough madam character, and Murphy's character loses that fight too, just like Ray's situation with Goldmouth. This Easter egg demonstrates Murphy's willingness to connect his various film roles and reward longtime fans who catch these subtle connections. Fact 9. The music from the future mistake. During a scene meant to show Claude experiencing cultural changes in the 1970s, he hears music from a portable stereo, Maxwell's hit, Fortunate. Here's the problem. Maxwell's Fortunate wasn't released until 1999, the same year Life hit theaters. Claude is hearing music from the late 90s in what's supposed to be the 1970s, a 20-year time travel mistake. Maxwell's smooth R&B style and production quality are distinctly late 1990s, making it completely out of place in a scene meant to capture the 70s musical landscape. Fact 10. The scar that changed direction. Sheriff Pike's distinctive facial scar serves as a visual reminder of his violent encounter with Winston Hancock. When Pike first appears in 1932, his scar runs straight up and down in a vertical line.
I don't doubt that you can buy your way out of trouble up in New York City, but down here...
However, when Pike returns near the end, during the climactic confrontation, his scar has mysteriously changed direction and now appears at an angle. This continuity error typically occurs when scenes are filmed out of sequence or when different makeup artists work on the same character. Since Life was shot over several months, Pike's scenes were likely filmed at different times with slightly different scar applications. Fact 11. The newborn that fooled nobody. When the prison superintendent examines his daughter's mixed-race baby, supposedly immediately after birth, the infant used in filming was obviously at least 3 to 5 months old. The baby is wide-eyed and alert, holding its head up independently and moving its hands in coordinated motions, behaviors real newborns can't perform. During the lineup scene, the infant appears completely comfortable being handled, showing none of the fragility expected from a genuinely newborn child. This age substitution is common due to regulations about working with very young infants, but it's rarely as noticeable as in this scene. What makes this particularly funny is how seriously the scene plays. The superintendent is examining this clearly months-old baby as if it just emerged from the womb. The infant even appears to be tracking movement with its eyes and responding to the environment, developmental milestones that take weeks to achieve. Real newborns can barely focus their eyes and spend about 16 to 17 hours per day sleeping. This baby is having none of that. It's alert, engaged, and ready for its close-up, making the whole scene unintentionally hilarious for anyone who's ever been around an actual newborn. The casting choice reveals the practical challenges of Hollywood filmmaking, where child labor laws and the unpredictability of working with genuine newborns often force productions to use older babies as stand-ins. Fact 12. When improvisation became the real script. Life incorporates genuine improvised moments and outtakes directly into the final cut. The directors recognized that spontaneous interactions between Murphy and Lawrence often produced better material than scripted dialogue.
I don't want to be your friend. I just want to do this thing and get back to New York in time to start my job.
And what the hell kind of job you got?
Throughout production, the actors frequently went off script, with many ad-libbed exchanges making the theatrical release. The film's credits feature a full blooper reel highlighting Murphy's reaction during the pocket watch scene, where he breaks character with unscripted lines. This blend of scripted and unscripted material helped establish the believable decades-long friendship forming the story's emotional core. Fact 13. The self-operating door mystery. During the Jim Crow diner scene, the filmmakers inadvertently created a magic trick. When Ray and Claude enter the diner, they leave the door wide open. However, when the waitress asks if they saw the segregation sign and they turn to look back, the door has mysteriously closed itself.
Oh, is Spanky here? Do yourself a favor and find another place where they let you in the front door.
When they prepare to leave, the door has somehow opened itself again. The door changes position at least twice without any logical explanation or visible human intervention. This continuity error creates unintentional humor in what should be a serious scene about racial discrimination. Fact 14. The movie poster that lied. The theatrical poster shows Murphy and Lawrence sandwiched between two enormous menacing inmates, suggesting heavy prison violence and sexual threats. These prisoners are actually Jangle Leg and Goldmouth, but their poster appearance completely misrepresents their roles. Jangle Leg is actually polite and gentle, in a loving relationship with Biscuit, accepting Ray's rejection gracefully. Goldmouth is just a prison yard bully, who eventually becomes friendly with both main characters. The misleading poster emphasizes sensational stereotypes rather than the film's nuanced character development and touching friendship story. Fact 15. Modern trucks in 1932. As Ray and Claude drive from New York to Mississippi in 1932, modern white trucks from the 1970s and 80s are clearly visible in the background. These trucks are particularly noticeable because their sleek lines and contemporary features stand out dramatically against the boxy, rounded vehicles from the 1930s. This mistake typically happens when crews work in real locations where they can't control every element. Since Life was filmed entirely in California, the production team had to work around existing neighborhoods where modern vehicles might be parked. Fact 16. The real historical context. While Life is a comedy, it's built on tragically accurate foundation. Wrongful convictions of black men were disturbingly common during the Jim Crow era, especially in cases involving alleged crimes against white victims.
A couple of slices of pie, is that all right?
No, these are whites-only pies.
The justice system was heavily stacked against black defendants who often lacked adequate legal representation and faced all-white juries. Parchman Farm was a real place notorious for brutal conditions and exploitation of prisoners through the convict leasing system. By embedding comedy in this historical reality, the filmmakers created a film working on multiple levels. The convict leasing system, which operated throughout the South from Reconstruction through the early 20th century, essentially re-enslaved black Americans through the criminal justice system. After slavery was abolished, Southern states passed laws specifically designed to criminalize black behavior and provide a new source of free labor. Prisoners were leased out to private companies, farms, and businesses where they worked in conditions often worse than slavery.
Fake foreign currency. But whatever you done to get here, believe me, I'm not impressed. I've seen it all before.
Because their owners had no financial incentive to keep them alive long-term. Parchman Farm, established in 1901, was designed as a self-sustaining plantation where prisoners worked cotton fields under armed guards. The conditions were so brutal that it became known as Mississippi's Scar and Hell on Earth. Inmates faced physical punishment, including whipping, inadequate food and medical care, and extreme heat in the fields. The prison operated this way well into the 1970s, meaning Ray and Claude's experiences in the film, while fictionalized, reflected real conditions many men endured. Fact 17. Bernie Mac's breakout performance. Life showcased Bernie Mac in one of his most memorable roles as Jangle Leg, helping elevate his career just years before The Bernie Mac Show. Mac's portrayal was groundbreaking, positive portrayals of gay black characters in mainstream 1999 comedies were rare. Mac brought dignity and humor without making Jangle Leg the butt of jokes related to his sexuality. The character's relationship with Biscuit is treated with genuine affection and respect, progressive for its time. This role demonstrated Mac's range and ability to balance comedy with authentic emotional depth. Fact 18. The 65-year time span significance. Life covers 65 years from 1932 to 1997, allowing the film to showcase dramatic changes in American society, while Ray and Claude remain trapped. They witness the evolution of music, fashion, civil rights, and culture from behind bars, entering during the Depression and leaving during the dawn of the Internet age. The aging makeup required to show this passage was a massive undertaking. The time span emphasizes what was stolen from them, not just years, but their entire lives, potential families, careers, and freedom during their most productive decades. Fact 19. Ray's hat as symbol. Throughout the film, Ray Gibson's fedora becomes a symbol of his identity and connection to his former life. The hat represents Ray's urban sophistication and dreams of being a sharp-dressed man. As years pass, the hat becomes worn and faded, mirroring Ray's aging and deterioration of his dreams. Yet Ray never abandons it, holding on to who he was before prison. In the final scenes, when Ray and Claude are finally free, Ray still wears that hat, suggesting that while time changed everything else, his core identity survived intact. The hat also represents Ray's connection to the Harlem Renaissance era and the cultural pride of black urbanites in the 1920s and 30s. In the opening scenes, Ray is a hustler, a fast talker, a man trying to make it in New York City. The fedora is part of that persona. It says he's somebody, he's going places, he's got style. When he's forced into prison blues and stripped of everything, that hat becomes his last connection to his former identity. Watch how Ray treats the hat throughout the film. He adjusts it, tips it, protects it. Even as an old man in prison, he maintains that hat with care. It's a small act of resistance against the dehumanization of prison life. The system can take his freedom, his youth, his opportunities, but it can't take his sense of self. That battered fedora represents the indomitable human spirit, the part of Ray that prison couldn't break. Fact 20. Claude's subtle character evolution. Eddie Murphy's performance as Claude Banks showed a different side of his talent. Claude is the more reserved, careful half of the duo, providing perfect counterbalance to Ray's brash confidence. Murphy had to play Claude from young adulthood through old age, showing evolution from an uptight young man to someone who's accepted his fate. The performance required subtle changes in demeanor, body language, and speech patterns. Watch how Claude walks in early scenes versus later ones. Murphy adjusts everything to reflect the physical and emotional toll of 65 years in prison. Fact 21. The film's exploration of friendship. At its core, life is about how friendship sustains us through impossible circumstances. Ray and Claude start as near strangers who don't like each other, but 65 years of shared hardship forges an unbreakable bond. The film shows friendship isn't just about shared good times, but showing up during the worst times. Their bickering is actually a sign of deep connection. Like an old married couple, they've learned each other's patterns. The film suggests friendship can be a form of freedom, even within the most confining circumstances. Fact 22. The hope and futility subplot. Various characters attempt to escape or fight their wrongful imprisonment, exploring themes of hope and futility. The film shows different responses to injustice, fighting back, often leading to more punishment, accepting your fate, allowing survival, and maintaining hope, sustaining you.
Life? You mean like, hell no, I ain't doing no life. I'm going back to myself. It's a mistrial. It's a mistrial.
But also leading to devastating disappointment. Ray and Claude's journey reflects this tension, spending years hoping for release while ultimately accepting they'll likely die in prison. Yet they never completely give up hope, making the ending powerful. Fact 23. The comedy-drama balance. One remarkable aspect is how Life balances comedy with genuinely dark subject matter. Wrongful conviction, racism, lost lives, death, yet remains consistently funny. Director Ted Dem carefully managed tone, never making light of injustice but finding humor in resilience and refusal to let circumstances destroy humanity. Comedy comes from character and dialogue rather than situation. This approach makes serious moments hit harder, because the film earned your laughter, it also earned your tears. Fact 24. The cultural impact and legacy. Released in 1999 to mixed reviews and modest box office, Life has become a cult classic, especially within Black communities where themes of injustice and resilience resonate deeply.
Life is falling down on parchment falling.
The film spawned countless memes, quotes, and hip-hop references. It influenced later films combining comedy with serious social themes, showing audiences could handle complex tonal shifts. The film's treatment of wrongful conviction remains culturally relevant because depicted injustices haven't disappeared. Fact 25. What the actors have said. Both Murphy and Lawrence have spoken about Life with deep affection, considering it one of their most meaningful projects. Murphy mentioned working on Life required more dramatic depth, and the intensive aging makeup process was worth it for this story. Lawrence talked about how the film resonated as commentary on the criminal justice system, wanting comedy to serve the story. Nunez discussed pride in creating Biscuit's death scene and the importance of telling LGBTQ stories within Black cinema. Fact 26. The ending's deeper meaning. The ending where elderly Ray and Claude are finally freed after 65 years is both triumphant and heartbreaking. They've won freedom but lost most of their lives. The film doesn't show them adjusting to freedom or reuniting with remaining family. This ambiguous ending forces viewers to sit with the injustice. No neat resolution makes everything okay. Freedom after 65 years can't return what was stolen. Yet there's genuine joy seeing them free, walking side by side, still friends. Their survival and friendship become resistance against endured injustice. Fact 27. The production timeline. Filming took place from March to June 1998, with the film releasing in April 1999. This relatively quick turnaround from production to release demonstrates the efficiency of the production team. However, the compressed timeline may explain some continuity errors that slipped through. The film was shot during a pivotal moment in both Murphy's and Lawrence's careers. Murphy was transitioning from his 80s comedy peak, while Lawrence was ascending as a major comedy star following Bad Boys and Martin. Fact 28. The legacy of Life's message. Beyond entertainment, Life delivers a powerful message about resilience, friendship, and the ability to maintain humanity in dehumanizing circumstances. The film suggests that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Ray and Claude's friendship becomes their freedom. They may be physically imprisoned,
Ample opportunity to repay your debt to society through the rigors of hard labor.
but their spirits remain free through connection. This message resonates because it speaks to universal human experiences of facing injustice, maintaining hope, and finding meaning through relationships. Why these facts matter. These 28 facts reveal that life is far more complex and carefully crafted than it might appear. From real injuries and improvised deaths to historical accuracy and social commentary, the film operates on multiple levels simultaneously. The production challenges, continuity errors, and creative decisions all contributed to creating something unique. A comedy that doesn't shy away from darkness, a buddy movie built on genuine injustice, and a story balancing laughter with legitimate grief. Understanding these behind-the-scenes details enriches the viewing experience. You see not just the finished product, but the human effort, creativity, and occasional mistakes that went into creating it. You appreciate the actor's commitment, the director's vision, and the ways that improvisation and accident sometimes create magic. Life proves that great films aren't perfect films. They're films where the vision, performances, and story connect with audiences in meaningful ways. Join the conversation. Now that you know these secrets, will you watch Life differently? Which fact surprised you most? Have you spotted any details we didn't cover? Drop a comment below with your favorite behind-the-scenes fact or any mistakes you've noticed. Let's see who has the sharpest eye for detail. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe for more content exploring the hidden stories behind your favorite films. We've got plenty more secrets to uncover. Remember, sometimes the best stories aren't just what's on screen. They're what happens between takes, during accidents, and when actors trust their instincts enough to throw away the script. Life is proof that movie magic doesn't always go according to plan, and sometimes that's exactly what makes it magical. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what secrets are hiding in plain sight.